Hey everybody, it's Ailarra. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about cross stitch and all sorts of other stuff. It is Thursday, October the 13th, 2022, like 5 in the morning. Now, before you get sad that I'm not sleeping, I slept until like 5:30 last night. So I'm actually just pushing through. Like, I haven't even been awake for 12 hours yet. I'm just pushing through today and gonna try and go to sleep like a normal human being tonight. Because that schedule that I talked about, because it's been like 3 weeks since my last regular update. I did put up a stitch with me between. It went over pretty well. Not a lot of views relative to the rest of my regular updates, but the feedback I got was really great from you guys. So thank you for those who watched. Yeah, it's been like, I don't even know where I was going with that. It's been like 3 weeks since my update. I had talked about a schedule that I was trying to implement with alarms and things like that, and I've been all over the place with sleeping, so have the alarms. It's sort of working. It's sort of working. We're not there yet, but it's sort of working. Let's see here. How has you all been? I hope you have been well in these last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been okay. I've had a honestly really stressful couple of weeks since I last filmed. I'll get into a little bit of it towards the end for life updates. I don't want to make this a ridiculously long video, but who are we kidding? It's me. I do want to say thank you to Stitching Big Things with Hallie. She mentioned me in one of her last videos, so thank you for that, Hallie. I will be honest, I have not done a whole lot of watching on anything. I'm going to pause you, though, because I forgot my drink and I have a scratchy throat. Hang on. Okay, try that again. What was I saying? But yeah, haven't really been watching a whole lot of Flosstube or anything really. I've just been kind of trying to be present here in the moment in the house. So that is what it is. Let's see where to start. I have worked on 8 projects in the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to try and actually do these in the order that I wrote them down, or I won't remember what I'm going to do. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm sorry. I did have a finish, so I'll show you that. And apparently a finish equals 2 new starts. So there was that too. But really, in reality, it's, if I feel like having a new start, I'm gonna do a new start, my gosh. So I'm actually gonna start with one of the new starts because that's what I wrote down first. And it is a Heaven and Earth design. It is actually one of the very first ones I ever bought. It was like in the first because I bought like 10 patterns from Haid the very first time I ever shopped with them, because I had no clue. I really had no clue about Heaven and Earth designs, and I'm pretty sure like almost all of them were supersized max colors, including this one. And me and my tablet are gonna fight again. Okay, so this is Supersized Max Color Shaman by Lori Prindle. And I love him. He's friggin' gorgeous. I actually had this in, bought this again in, as a diamond painting through Diamond Art Club, but I think we'll get rid of that one because I think I'd actually prefer to spend 30 years stitching it. So I got a total of 3,830 stitches in once I started it. This first page is actually really, like, it's not blocky, but it has a lot of a lot of one color stitching, so it really didn't take me too long to do that. But it's 0.58% complete. Oh, I need a thing behind me, which I don't have. Hang on, let me try and turn. Hot mess, hot mess. Okay, turn the light off behind me to hopefully help there. It's a little bit better. So just all pink in that corner, which was a very lovely changeover from all black. Looks like I got a wonky stitch, but that's okay. But this is the bottom of the first page, and everything that's left to fill in is this color here in the middle. So when I get the urge to pick it up again, that is what I will be doing. I'll just be filling that last, I don't know, 1,000 or so stitches in. And we'll move on to the next page. I don't know where to put this. Okay. Stay. Okay, so while I was gone these last 3 weeks, we had a couple of events on our property for, my husband and I's business, which was part of the stress, just having that many people, because we had, our main event was like 50 people strong. And I don't people very well when it comes to larger crowds. I know most of the people that were there, so it was actually a lot less stressful than it has been in the past. But just putting on an event like that is stressful. So I did my usual outdoor stitching. I didn't do a whole lot. Man, I don't know what is up with my throat. a lot of allergies going around right now. I didn't do a whole lot, but I got some in. A few threads. This is one of my stamped cross stitches, so that it's just super easy to work on while I'm outside. And sorry, I need to shake ya. Oh, really doesn't look a whole lot different from the last time, but I did fill in a little bit of this color. Scoot it over so you can see where it was, and did several threads down here. Just keep on working on trucking on that background. So when I feel like not doing that anymore, I'll switch over something in the middle. But I mean, let's face it, that's a lot, pretty much the main colors is those two in this piece. So I kind of want to get that done and then actually start working on the fun part a little bit more. So I mingled a lot more for this event, really. So I didn't get a whole lot done. That's okay. Oops. This one. That's stitched on, Shaman, I am stitching that on 28 count Ada, 1/1 full cross. This is just the kit, which is a 14 count, 14 count, 2/1 standard 14 count kit. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and show you my finish. It's a little one. It's nothing super exciting, except that, you know, it's a finish. I have not FFO'd it because I'm not an FFO'er at this point in my life. I figured what's going to happen is I'm just going to collect all these pieces as FOs and not FFOs. I really want to get some of them framed and enjoy them while they're, you know, while I'm younger. But I figured once I start losing my eyesight, really, then I'll just switch my hobby from cross stitch to framing things and finishing things. That'll just be my next hobby. I did 2,351 stitches that includes the half stitches and back stitches that I had to do. But this is, I'm not even going to show you the finish because, or the final product, because here it is. Ta-da! This is Be a Light. This is a Dimensions kit. And for as small as it is, there's a heck of a lot of stitches in this little thing. Like I said, it was where it was before. Here, let me stick that in there so you can see that here. And yeah, it was 2,000, what did I say? 2,351 stitches just to get from there to here. I even did all the back stitching, you guys. This one wasn't terrible. The outline of the jars is that really dark blue, so you really can't see it. But it wasn't too bad because it was pretty straightforward where those stitches were going. I think a lot of my problem with back stitching is that my experience is mostly with Dimensions kits as far as finishing and back stitching. And a lot of times their back stitching goes where you can't see the stitches that you're putting in. Drives me crazy. So, but yeah, I have not ironed it, obviously. I actually stitched the rest of this in hand. I had tried a 6x6 Q-snap, which kind of worked. But it was so hard to, I took it out and said, screw it. I'll just do it by hand, or in hand. I think it turned out pretty good for, I did end up having to frog like this whole section right here while I was working on it, because this leaf right here ended up like one down and one over somehow. And that threw all of, because I was going from down here and up. So I ended up having to frog all that because that threw it off. But other than that, it went really smoothly. So that's my little finish. He will go in my finish pile. And yeah. Okay, next. All right, I did not put much into this next one at all. I think it was just in a Q-snap, so I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll work on it. But I wasn't really feeling it. I was just being super lazy, and once I realized how much I wasn't feeling it, I put it away and got something else out. But I am selling this with Jessica from LiveLaughLoveStitcher. And this is Crystal Garden by Rose Kahn. This is a Heaven and Earth design. And we both had this pattern. We decided we wanted to stitch it together. We both did not pull this out for our start date was, I think, the 5th of whatever month we started it. And we were kind of both pulling it out then, but I don't know what day it is usually, let alone what date it is. And then I think she forgot to this last, so I just pulled it out whenever. It's going to move into one of those. We'll probably end up just stitching on it when we feel like stitching on it, which is fine. But I only put in 210 stitches. So again, I gridded out where my page is, and I'm just starting to fill it in a little bit by the page. So not a whole lot of difference here. I am at 3,003 stitches total. 0.95% complete. So, and his horn actually comes in right here, the very corner. So that'll be nice to get to eventually. So here's that one. That is also, oh, the Dimensions kit is just, I just did that on the kit fabric. I think it's a 16 or 18 count. With the usual full cross, half cross nonsense not nonsense, but you know, that Dimensions does. This one is stitched on also 28 count Aida, 1/1 full cross. Yeah. Okay. Next one is my largest stamped cross stitch kit that I own. It is ginormous, mostly because it is an 11 count fabric. but I just call it peacocks. And I pulled this one out because I basically had not touched it since I started Flosstube. But I mean, it's only 600 by 230 stitches. So I mean, it's like a typical large shade. But because it's 11 count, it is 150 by 64 centimeters. So it's big. Actually, if you saw my Stitch With Me, this is the one that I worked on during my Stitch With Me. And I think I worked on it a little bit more too after I finished up the Stitch With Me. And I have perk threads. Okay, I forgot I did that. And I'm not working like in a particular method. And this is all, I have a start in the bottom corner. But I decided I don't like working up from this corner. I prefer starting the upper left hand. And I just ended up doing, this is not a Royal Rose method or anything like that. I just didn't feel like, I don't know, I was trying to count easily. And I actually, you can kind of see where I went from doing my rows back and forth this way to doing my rows this way. To move across a little bit more naturally. And then I just parked them. And I don't know how I'm going to approach this really, if I'm going to just keep going across or if I'll just, I don't know, just however I feel like it really, it's stamped so it's easy to just kind of go where I want to on this one. So, but it's beautiful purple. And there is actually 2 different colors of thread here. So it'll be a real nice, looks like it's going to be a really nice blending of colors. So hopefully once I wash it, the rows won't be quite as evident, but it doesn't really bother me either. But this is like with a rayon floss using the a thread conditioner beeswax for it has made it a huge difference in being able to work with that stuff. And yeah, it's 3 strands, so no loop method start, but that is okay. I enjoyed working on that while I had it out. So I don't know when this will come out again, but hopefully not a full year before it comes out again. Actually, I have possible plans. Maybe fake plans, but possible real plans. On not really a rotation, but kind of. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I did 1737 stitches total on that. And if I really wanted to, I could figure out a percentage, but I'm not going to because I'm kind of lazy. Okay, next I worked on a project I forgot to grab. I'll be right back because today's video is a hot mess. Okay. All right, so my last video I titled "Titles Are Hard" because I seriously couldn't think of one, and this one's gonna have to be like Hot Mess Express titled. Next I worked on, this is Dragon by Lorna Lane. Kit is by Gecko Rouge, as you can see. I had a stitching meetup with my girlfriends from the retreat last year. We get together monthly, and I brought that because it's really hard now that I've got my master set set up for stitching here in my house. It's kind of hard to travel with not kits. I'm probably actually going to end up packing my entire master set with me to, to go to the retreat in 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. A little over, just over. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm getting there. But yeah, I will probably just pack because I can't just only work on kits. I have to bring other stuff too. So Anywho, I took this and then realized that I forgot a Q-snap or a hoop to work on this while I was out. So I ended up stitching this in hand as well. This is stitched on 28 count fabric. Stitching in hand on 28 count fabric wasn't really hard, but I didn't really enjoy it either. So I only put in 247 stitches in this. The last time I worked on this was for Mania, when I started all my kits that I had at the time. And yeah, I showed you that. And this is like an easy grid. Sorry for the light behind it. But I just filled in some more of that yellow, and I came up here and started working on the little bubble cloud thing. So not a whole lot of difference between last time and this time. But I did get some progress in. Every stitch counts, right? Every stitch counts, right? There we go. That is at a whopping, I have 948 stitches total in that. And I'm doing this one also 1/1 full cross. That's I prefer full cross anymore. It's a 10 stitch. I have a couple that'll keep as 10 stitch, but not many. Where do I want to put this? There's fine. And that is at 1.16%. It's not full coverage. Like, all that's not stitched. That's just blank fabric. So mostly full coverage, but not completely full coverage. Okay. Next, I stitched on Face of a Mermaid. She is my usual Monday stitching for Mermaid Monday, my Mermaid Monday Sal that a few people have joined in on Mondays with me, which is exciting. I got 542 stitches in on her. Let me show you the final product. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? This is by Total Cross Stitch. Face of a Mermaid. Love her. So pretty. I will. I can hardly wait for her eyes to come in because they're just going to look like they glow. But I've started, again, just kind of starting to fill in the page. So now you can really see this shell. Oh man, that looks so good. I really like how the charts she's made so far, you can find her on Etsy. The charts that she's made so far are very manageable size, and the detail is still just really stunning. So that is my progress on that one. Now, I mentioned I did have 2 new starts. This Monday of this week, I actually wasn't feeling the greens. For whatever reason, I was not in the mood to stitch green. But I still had to do mermaid because it's Mermaid Monday. So I actually only have like 4 or 5 maybe mermaid patterns. And this is one my husband had gotten me for Christmas last year. Oh, I don't know the artist on this one. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, so this is Mini Mermaid at Sunset. This is the Heaven and Earth design by Elena Lazareva. And here she is in all her glory, if I can get the glare off. Now the mock-up does look pretty pixely, if you can see that. It's not bad. And I think the colors will blend out in the actual stitching a lot more. I am stitching this on, I think it's a 28 count Monaco. It was just one of the ones in the tube at Joann's or whatever that was in my stash. It is a pink color. And this is one of the ones that I pre-cut, and then I didn't actually mark where to start the grid. Some of them are actually 3 inches. Others are like 2.5 by 3 into the corner. So I started in the middle with this one. So this is her butt. here. And that's the underneath her tail, and her legs fold this way. This is part of the rock. I got 600 stitches even in on her for a total of 0.76%. Now this is a full coverage piece, so the pink really isn't going to show through, but it gives me something different to stare at color-wise. And it's 1/1 full cross. Did I say 28 count? Pretty sure I did. So I'm really hoping that the colors will, like I said, blend out and it won't look so pixelated in the actual stitched product. I have one more finish to show you, but it's not mine. I am one proud mama. My son, my middle son, who is 15 and a half almost, looking forward to getting his permit to drive, joined us for our Stitchy meetup on, when did we get together? On Monday. And look at this, you guys. I'm so proud. This is his first ever cross stitch, and he did back stitching and everything. He did so good. His back's a little bit of a hot mess, but whatever. It's his first one. Who cares? I'm just ecstatic that he joined me. And he actually asked to join us in our next meetup is in November, the week, like the Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving for the US. And he asked if he could come again. I'm so excited. And I actually had picked this up for him in case he liked it. So this is what he's going to be stitching on next. And this is a Riola's kit. And he loves pugs. I think they're so ugly. Oh, I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, they're so ugly. They're cute. No, I think they're just ugly with their poor little squished faces. But that's the one he is going to stitch on next, which doesn't look like there's any back stitch. So hopefully he'll enjoy that one. So that is one cross stitcher I have created for sure in my own life. So, okay. What next? I have one more whip, but it's not cross stitch. It's going to be short, I promise. So stick around. It's not bad. Last video I had shown you part of my haul was my birthday yarn from my mom. And I'll put another picture up of the pattern that I decided I wanted to use. What is it called? I have it here, but the picture's terrible. Something. Catch the Wind. So it's just a basic stockinette shirt, or sweater, stockinette stitch, with a lace pattern. Okay, so it's been a while since I've knitted. So I had to figure out my gauge. My gauge has always been like 3 needle sizes different than what the actual gauge is recommended for the pattern. So I always have to do a lot of swatches in order to make sure that my gauge is right. That was still true. So knitted a lot, frogged a lot just to get the swatch done. And then it took me, I would think I was in like 18 or 20 rows and realized that I had made a lot of mistakes in the lace pattern, but I had finally gotten my rhythm and relearned how to like look at the stitches below to figure out where I was in the pattern and all that fun stuff. So I frogged all that. Do I have a picture? If I had a picture of where I was, I'll put it here. That's how much I had done, and that's how much I frogged. But this is where I'm at. So it's starting to get bunchy, so it's going to be hard to show you. So this is the neck, because it is knit top down. That's the back. That'll be the front. And then here is the lace pattern. Let's see if I can use me as kind of a, I don't know if you can even see it. Kind of, can you see the leaves? kind of, sort of. It took me some noodling to figure out how to get the lace pattern to expand, because I'm an idiot, and reading the pattern, I was like, what is it talking about? So, but yeah, that is my progress. I'm really enjoying how the variegation in the yarn is coming out in the knitted product so far. So that when I only have a couple of minutes to do anything crafty, that's what I'll pick up and stitch a little bit in it. So, okay. Next we'll do haul kindness. I don't really have much haul. Mostly practical things, nothing really super interesting. I did, and thank you for everyone who chimed in on my my gridding questions last time, because the consensus is that if I use sewing thread, it's very likely that I can split the thread or sew it in, and it's really hard to get out. So I found a special on Amazon. I thought I was getting the Sulky Sliver, but it's actually the Hollow Shimmer. It's pretty thin, but I work on 28 count fabric, so I don't know. We'll see how it works, but it's really pretty. So I'll try, once I frog that bit out of White Horse, we'll use that to grid. And if it works, I'll probably start using this to grid all of my hand-dyed fabrics with that I don't want to use my friction pens to mark. I did also pick up a neck light for the retreat, because last year the lighting was okay without help. But luckily somebody had a lamp that they let me borrow. Now the touch, it's just a touch button to turn it on. Oh, look at that. And they're pretty sensitive. Like, it doesn't take much to flip it on and off. But it has a couple of settings. It was less than $15. So, and it is rechargeable. Hopefully, I'll link it below if anybody is interested. It does bend really easily. It's not heavy. I looked at the Lumos light is really highly recommended, but y'all, those are like $100 or $50 a piece. Do not have that kind of cash right now. So, like, still considering a microphone. I got a lot of feedback saying that the sound is still fine. We'll see how annoyed I get with it still when I'm editing. And then I actually received a late birthday present from a girlfriend that came up from Florida to our hang. Sorry for the crinkles. And she picked me up a couple of embroidery kits off of Amazon. She's actually more of an embroiderer than a cross stitcher, so which is perfectly fine. And she knows that I do some embroidery too. That's going to be really hard to show you because it is tiny. But she got me some of these, a couple of these little kits. Little field of sunflowers. And this will be kind of interesting to do. It is a pre-stamped cloth, but look at this, it's gray. And it still has the printed pattern on it. And of course it comes with all the floss. And then this one shows through pretty well. It's like a field of poppies, I think. I'm not sure if this is like a haystack or if that's supposed to be like sun with the rays coming down. Not really sure what's going on with that. But pretty cute, pretty simple. Come with a couple of hoops. I would assume to go ahead and frame in. These are from the Cherry Blossom US. I think, yeah, off Etsy. So that was very, very kind of her to do. And then I got some really unexpected stitchy kindness from Elisa from Crafting in Colorado here on Flosstube. And she got me this beautiful little, it's a resin Ort jar. I got some worts in it already. It's got like a moss poured into it. Isn't that cool? It looks super cool in person, and it's got like glitter. It's kind of clear. Hi. And then just sits like that. So thank you so much, Elisa. She had asked for my address, and then I completely forgot that she had asked for it. And when it got here, my husband did the whole super side-eye thing because, you know, something's coming from Etsy, and I'm like, I'm not spending any more money. What did you buy? Nothing, I swear. But I love it. It's very, very, very much me. So, that is it for haul. Stitchy kindness. Okay, so that's relatively it. I do have, like I mentioned earlier, I do have kind of a hopeful in my head to do of plans. So what I want to do, I've been finding that trying to gather everything for Flosstube and record keeping, and then just trying to find something to work on tends to make my area a little more messy than I care to have. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 7 different categories of stitching. Smalls, full coverage, maybe split the full coverage into like Haid and non-Haid, because I don't have a whole lot of other full coverages besides Heaven and Earth Designs. You know, kits, embroidery, you know, just kind of break it up into types of, and then pick a project out of each category. So there's one for every day of the week if I feel like switching it up every day. And then if not, you know, if I still want to work on something a couple of days in a row or whatever, or, you know, I can kind of rotate through those. And if I get to the point where I pick something, if I'm avoiding something, or I really don't feel like working on that particular one, but maybe I want something out of that category that I've made for it, I'll switch it out for something in the same category, you know, a small for a small or a kit for a kit, that kind of thing. And maybe that will help me focus a little bit more on, not necessarily focusing on finishes, but hopefully that'll help get me a little bit more bulk progress on projects. And I don't necessarily, I'm not even limiting myself on, okay, well, you've got to switch this out every 2 weeks, whatever. If I feel like having the same full coverage Heaven and Earth design in there for however long, then I'll do that. But the downside is that I may like neglect some sals and things like that. So maybe I'll have like a sal category or something. I don't think I'm going to maintain the with Canopy Heart that I'm doing with Suki. That was at the end of the month. My Once Upon a Fairy Tale, when I actually work on it, was the 1st of the month. You know, Crystal Heart was the 5th. I'm not necessarily going to pigeonhole myself into that anymore. I think Mermaid Monday will probably stick around. I'm enjoying that. And the fact that I can rotate if I'm not feeling all the greens on Face of a Mermaid or whatnot, I can do that. So that will stay. But yeah, we'll see. Again, it could be fake plans. It could be real plans. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see what happens. It's kind of the name of the game with me. If you've been here with me for a while. By the way, rude of me, thank you for subscribing and coming back if you are a returning subscriber. I have gotten a few of you in the last few weeks, so welcome to you new folks. If you're just swinging by and you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, consider doing so if you feel like it. If not, don't. It's okay. Did I mention last time? I discovered that it wasn't really my cats I was needing to worry about. So my stitching setup in the living room, or whatever you call it, is I have my chair, I have 2 side tables, and I have command strips with binder rings with my master set hanging from all those rings. And I was like, the cats maybe could mess with it. No, it's my little guy. Took some scissors to my thread that was hanging there. Luckily, he only got like 2 or 3 colors that are, you know, I've got pieces that are like that long, like not really short enough to throw away, but definitely short enough to be completely annoying when I'm trying to stitch with them. And actually one of them is like this pink. That is, it's got a ton of it, so I'm like, I can't just throw away a whole skein of color that I need. Ugh. So yeah, we had to have the whole talk about, you know, when is appropriate to use scissors and what on. Can't get too mad at him. It's just out there. It's a little aggravated with the husband for letting him play on my stuff, though. So not only is my son getting into cross stitch, but I may have also influenced another gal that she's a friend that she'll come and do hammock hangs with us as well. She's actually was our mini hang the weekend after our main event. She wasn't able to come that weekend, so she invited a few of her people to just do a small get together. This past weekend, which was the weekend after the main event. And the last time she had come was a few weeks before that. And it ended up being just her and I and my husband hanging out for a day because everybody kind of got stuck in the rain. She was one of them, and she was like, whatever, I'll just hang out and it's fine. And I was sitting in my chair cross-stitching, and she was like, you know, I've always wanted to learn how to try that. That looks so relaxing. And I was like, well, guess what I just might have for you. So Nana, thank you. I know I've said something to you already. But Nana from the TheCraftShieldmaiden had sent me some of her kits that she, you know, wasn't really going to do and thought maybe I would enjoy. And one of them was like a really little guy that I hadn't started. And I was like, I've got the perfect thing for you. And so I got it out. I put it together. I showed her, you know, how to read the chart, how to thread your needle. I mean, it was like everything basic. It was so much fun. And she got into it a little bit that night and was like, this is so much fun. Oh my gosh, can I take it with me? Yes, absolutely. Here's what you need. And she finished it and was like, I'm going to the store. Where can I find more of these? So I told her, you know, you can find them at Walmart, and like usually in their little craft section, they'll have cross stitch kits that you can get. So she went and she found some more cross stitch kits, and she's like, I might need to FaceTime you for help. Is that okay? Yes, yes, please, 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 please. So yeah, I may have created a second cross stitcher in just as many months. So that's been really fun. That was really fun. StitchCon invoices have gone out. I did not get one. That is okay. At this point in time, I don't know that I could afford to pay the invoice right off the bat. If I get my button gear and actually get bags made that I can take to the retreat, I may actually be able to finance that. I'm not sure what I heard in my room out there, or if that even picked up on camera. It almost sounds like a hairdryer, and we don't have a hairdryer in this house anymore. It's fine. It's fine. We're all fine here. That's pretty much it. Our hammock hang went really well. My husband has really sort of streamlined a lot of the cooking and organizing and planning and stuff. So that went over really, really well. As I mentioned, I had some really kind of big stressful event. I'm not prepared to go into it here, but I'm okay. I'm okay. It's I definitely think that my sleep pattern is affected by my stress, hands down, because ever since it happened, I can't sleep, and it's been aggravating. It definitely made me appreciate my Stitch family, because there is a group that I'm a part of that just has been so welcoming, and you guys know who you are, because you seriously have helped me, are helping me get through the speed bump that I'm going through. And I appreciate their friendship so much, and the friendships that I've made just through making these videos has been incredible, and I'm so grateful. Because honestly, had this happened to me last year at this time, which actually I don't know, does YouTube tell you when you've been making videos and uploading videos for a year? Because I think we're there. It's either that or like next week, or I don't know, sometime in October I started making videos. But had this happened to me before I had the network that I have now, you guys truly have become a part of my extended family. And I don't know, I would have gotten through it. It would have taken me a lot longer. It would have gotten me down for, like, further down for longer than it has being able to tap into that family that you guys have become. So yeah, I get messages from you guys saying how much you appreciate what I do, but really the appreciation is me to you, because you guys have been a beacon and a shining star in my life as well. So thank you. Thank you. I really don't have a lot of life to get into other than that, because that's just, it's kind of all encompassing at the moment as far as what I can think of to talk about. I'm not talking about it because it's just, no. Nope. So with that, look at me under an hour, because I'm not going to jabber your ears off forever. I'm still planning. I still have my alarms for recording every week with the hangs, the events and stuff. There was just, I was so peopled out. There was no way I was talking even to myself for that extended period of time. I was just drained. Very, yeah. Social things. I enjoyed it, but it definitely is draining. So I'm hoping that next week, it may or may not be next week. Simply because we're already at Thursday, and I kind of wanted to do these a little earlier in the week. Maybe a Stitch with me. We'll see. Like I said, the definitely was not my most popular video. But those of you who watched really seemed to enjoy it. So I thank you for the feedback. I did get a few questions, in my Stitch with me, so I will at least do one to answer those questions. So yeah, I'll probably do a Stitch with me between now and my next update, and hopefully my next update again will be kind of like that Wednesday, or excuse me, that Tuesday evening-ish. It really just kind of depends on my sleep pattern at this point. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have an incredible week. Embrace the family that you choose. Reach out to the friends you haven't talked to in a while, because I know, you know, people are like, oh, blood's thicker than water, blah, blah, blah. What? The family that you're born with, you don't have much say in. But the family that you choose, they can be just as important and just as family as family. So, alrighty guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm hungry because I haven't eaten since dinner at like 7 o'clock. Yeah, I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.